his route.
Devin?
Okay, tonight we're giving you a quick update on Malaysia.
Way to go to the top. And that's why most people seem to have thrown it out. But it appears that he was telling the truth on that, which is why I'm inclined to believe he probably, at least to the best of his knowledge, was telling the truth about getting to the North Pole.
I think he probably was too.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, yeah, I think he did it. Or, super close anyway. I think officially the first man to...
So, without any further ado, let's get right into the story.
Yeah. On skis, and I want to say it was in the 1980s that he did it. And
Just a real quick little
the only way that this guy managed to do it. And of course the airdrops help figure out if he's really there.
Yeah.
But, so it wasn't an easy thing to get.
Since we posted our episode about MH370, there's
Me neither.
yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys, like, they have, they have some pretty rough times. Like, it was months ago that I read Endurance by F.A. Wars. Where them try his attempt to get to the South Pole. And that's an amazing story. I'd highly recommend that story, by the way. I mean, I know we're talking the other end of the earth, but it's kind of a similar thing. We're talking sleds and dogs and ships crushed in the ice and tales of incredible survival. And these guys went through an amazing set of adventures. So,
well, I mean, over the years, there's countless people have died trying to get to those places. So it's like
found a jetliner at the Bay of Bengal.
Where's that?
That's it. And that could be why some of these guys say, to hell with it, I'm going to lie.
So anyway, they say nobody is...
Cook probably thought he got there, and I think Perry knew well as a lying jerk that he didn't get there, but couldn't admit that he had failed.
Claimed seriously. Nobody else has actually bothered to go out and have a look-see.
And then he launched.
Yeah, and by the way, when he went public with this whole thing about the Inuit said they just went out a few miles and then just sort of circled around and came back. Well, it's actually, it seems like unlikely that it's in that spot because
wrong way.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, but if they had just like sort of gone out there intending to fake it and and then decided, screw it, let's go back home. Well, why were they gone for 14 months?
Got lost.
Yeah, I guess.
Got cut off on the ice.
They were never really lost. I don't think. No, they knew where they were. They were
because
on a floating ice floe, and
Cook figured it out.
Yeah.
He figured out where they were. That's how he knew how to navigate back to the village.
Yeah, he a period of time that it would have taken for the plane to get a few more people with them, and he should have made sure everybody in the expedition knew how to use a sextant.
Again, that. Well, it didn't happen.
Smart move there, yeah.
Yeah, but that's all I've got.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're in agreement with me on it, Joe.
I think that it's quite.
What are they basing? Yeah.
He was not an honorable guy.
He wasn't honest.
No, he was not. I think it's quite possible that Cook actually did make it to the North Pole or somewhere very close to where he... I think that, their mission is to find stuff on the ocean floor on the exact spot. I think he was pretty damn close if he wasn't actually on the exact spot.
I agree. I think Perry seems like a jerk.
Yeah.
I saw you starting to use the letter A and then
stop. Yeah. And I think Cook, he's a sympathetic character. You want to be on his side.
Yeah.
Man.
And the hard part for Cook. Remember how I told you he kind of got...
The ways they do it is by sniffing the air above the...
It was about 10 years later, he started investing in oil fields.
And apparently they found
the value of the output of his oil field. And simple version is that somebody challenged it and then
plane crash site, like traces of jet fuel.
Claims about the value of something, and they sent him to jail for like 10 years, which was, everybody couldn't believe what a harsh judgment it was.
Well, the judge apparently... Guess what?
A friend of Perry.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, turns out that part of Cook's oil field was on one of the giant oil reserves.
Yeah, he wasn't lying at all.
He was. He actually undercut the amount. He was
understated it.
shy about the production.
Yeah, for this he gets a good long stay in jail.
Yep,
I mean,
but
part of that due to Perry.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how their technology works, and they
being in prison, he was a surgeon. He was a doctor in prison.
On all the dirty little details of how their tech works, but they claim that they found
all the crap that was going on because he could never outrun it.
Yeah.
So it might have, in a way, been the best thing that Perry could have done for him.
Yeah, but
On this, or that they found a plane crash.
Well, that's true. They found a plane. Okay, we solved that mystery.
Yes, we totally, at least settled it.
What do you want to talk about now?
How about our website?
Oh yeah,
because we've got one of those.
It's lovely. Development number 1. Development number 2. Now, I know everybody's heard about this.
Of course, this episode and all other episodes are on the website. Going to have links to research on there. If you're not listening to us on the website, you can always listen to us through any streaming service. We're on pretty much every one of them. Of course, we're on iTunes. If you are on iTunes and you're listening to the show through there, do take the time to leave us a comment and a rating. Those do help.
Especially high ratings.
Well, we've always said that it helps.
Plane took the southern route, and the reason they
in the rankings, and we're getting really high up there, which is awesome.
The rankings hanging on the plane.
In Merced, right? It's I don't think Apple tells you exactly what it is.
It's a really complex algorithm you wouldn't understand.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I bet it would.
Hipster. Thinking sideways, and we do use that. Twitter's actually been really, really busy lately, which is pretty fun. We are on Facebook. You can find us.
Really confident that MH370 flew south and not north.
There's lots of conversations going on there. We're getting lots of stuff all the time through that. Total fun. So come join us there. And if you're enjoying the podcast and you want to hear more, you can always go ahead and go to Patreon to support the show. Patreon.com/Thinking Sideways is where we're at. You can choose to donate however much you want per show. Totally an option, but that is something
that went from the satellite down.
PAL right there on the website.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping Bill Gates discovers our website, or our the return time of the ping grew longer. Yeah, no, probably not.
The final thing I got to tell everybody is, of course, about our email address, which is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com.
Right, but they didn't know what direction the ping was coming from.
You've got thoughts, you've got comments, you're looking for more information. We're happy to get them all, and we'll field everything. So, think that's everything we got to head and close it on out, and we will talk to all you good people next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by making the contents of my cat's litter box into little almond rokas and selling them at Saturday Market. Instead, it's supported by the generous contributions of people like you, our listeners, and we'll talk a little bit more about how they figured that out in a bit to learn more. The development is that there is a private intelligence organization called
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Work. And these guys have...
Everyone, happy holidays from Team Sideways.
That's right, it's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve.
It is. It's the holidays. Yay!
I know.
Yay.
But here's some intelligence that indicates that the plane landed on a nuclear weapon
or world peace.
Yeah.
Whichever. What?
Just nuclear weapons. Really? Come on, man.
So
Don't you want one?
If you've been listening to the show for more than a year, I guess at this point, you know, or if you've binge listened, I guess, to all of our episodes, you know that we like to do themed shows around pretty much every holiday of the year. We do Halloween themes.
AA headquarters?
A lot of Christmas mysteries.
There are.
Really?
Yeah, there
and
truly
so,
are.
And so this,
That work for Ed Langley, or it might just be that
and that is, we're going to talk about Frosty, aka the Snowman.
yeah,
Indeed.
Frosty, yeah.
I assume most of our listeners. 1950, a song was released about this supposedly enigmatic creature. Since the original, there have been many, many, many recordings of the song.
Intelligence services like Stratfor is one that comes to mind that are
Merchandising partnerships with the Frosty franchise and popular items, like the holiday version of the Where's Waldo books. McDonald's did a partnership with Frosty for a while.
Frosty's big.
Yeah, he is. And officially, the franchise of Frosty's Story is owned jointly by DreamWorks Animation and with Warner Brothers TV. But we're not going to really talk about that, because the thing is...
That's kind of the sanitized version of Frosty.
It is. You know,
Yeah.
it's the Disney version of the fairy tales.
Yeah, they're
right?
real private. They're non-governmental.
Version. It's like we kind of know the Cliff Note version of Story's life.
And instead, we're going to go. It's been landed somewhere.
Yeah, apparently they're
Pakistan.
apparently
What they really were.
What they really were, yeah, and that's what we're going to do with Frosty. Because, you know, we don't really know who he is. I mean, they say that magic makes...
some engineers at Boeing who have confided in them. The Magic Hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And even if it was a magic hat, where did the magic hat come from?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Do you guys just want to, like,
Which makes me think that, you know, and that,
do right?
Yeah, there really kind
Yeah.
of is. There's a whole lot. Well, we've got a ton of theories, so we should probably start there.
Yeah. So why don't we just dive right in, to steal a term from Steve?
okay,
Yeah.
right on.
I guess I'm up because I have theory number one,
Yeah.
which is when you read the story of Frosty, you'll notice that the whole story comes from a kind of a very small locale, and then it's spread really kind of virally over one or two.
And it would be really easy to hide an extra transponder or two on that thing. Then
He does. To me, it's pretty simple. Is that he didn't?
so if somebody was going to hijack a plane,
Okay, what does everybody do at the holiday season when they go to work Christmas parties or family get-togethers? What do you drink?
and the first thing that they
Eggnog, because she loves to put a lot of booze in it.
Does
But-
she age it?
No, but there
Oh.
are some teetotalers who don't believe in putting.
tell them where every single switch for every transponder, every community.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a situation that's very similar to what's the bread mold? Ergot? Is that?
Yeah.
Ergo.
Ergo.
Yeah.
So, same thing. All these people go to this giant party and they all drink this rancid eggnog.
Oh.
And they all hallucinate.
Oh.
There's probably one guy who was in a top hat and a scarf running around having a high old time while he was stoned out of his brain too. And they all went, same anymore, and story solved. So that is where I think the simple version,
Yeah, but it seems like the sort of thing that Boeing would have...
where you see some stuff about the effects of this mold, but
Well, yeah, we talked it when we talked about it with the dancing plague, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
there's also
it slipped out. But people see some weird stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it
it's
seems
like
to me-
everybody would have had to have had it, right?
If it's a big party, everybody's
Yeah.
having it.
But
But
okay.
then also, you know, I mean,
And we have this hidden thing, and we know.
it's like it went on for a long time. I mean, Frosty was hanging out for a while, right?
Well, have you ever heard of a thing called a flashback?
Yeah.
These people may have been
Oh,
kind
okay.
of like an acid
Flashback.
trip, kind of having a little flashback. And so they all think, well, yeah, it seemed, and human memory is so fallible, that it may have been that they thought it was days when they were really
Yeah.
just kind of
That's true.
screwed up for a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that's my
Yeah, I
initial.
mean, I've, you know,
That, no.
been like 20 minutes.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
That's a dull party.
Yeah. Covert
Mm-hmm.
something or another.
All right. Well, I have another theory, and it's not the Magic Hat. Let's consider the Magic Hat and why it's so wrong. First of all, as Devin, as you know, if you listen to our previous episode, Because Frosty was around for a while, and supposing you're Frosty and you're, say, crossing the street, and a puff of wind knocks the magic hat off your head, and now you're back to being... It was in the hands of terrorists who are going to come back in 3 seconds.
While you
know how
over.
Murphy's Law works. Yeah, so, he was around for a while, and you would think the hat would be, like, getting knocked off his head all the time. And
Unless he had like a cylindrical snow dome. You know what I'm talking about? Like the top of his head had a cylinder in it that the top hat fit on snugly.
see,
yeah.
That could be.
I suppose.
That would stop the wind issue.
Yeah, but here's another reason to not believe it, and which is that if these things existed,
Aliens.
yeah. No,
I don't remember agreeing to that.
I don't think we agreed a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we've never seen one, right?
Because it is all little kids. The nuclear thing.
Oh yeah,
nuclear
we
thing?
agreed. To
I know I
aliens,
didn't
we?
agree.
Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would make the biggest snowman possible. So I think that Frosty was actually something else entirely, and there is actually.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one.
What about the
Yeah.
black hole when it comes to life? And that sounds an awful lot like a golem.
I don't know what a golem is.
Yeah,
I mean, I
golem.
know what golem is, but I don't know what a golem is.
Golem is.
It's such a
Yeah.
spoil.
At the end of it is
A
broken
helper, that kind of thing,
or a defender.
or a defender. They can put one together out of like mud or dust or whatever, and then if you know the right magic words, you can actually turn this into an animated creature.
I want to say it was there. It's always there's something that's always written on the forehead, and I can't remember what it is, but that's how they bring it to life.
Yeah, and so a golem can be really made of anything, even snow. And then you have your little helper.
And been animated to help. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't really actually.
It's broken.
Okay.
And the first character that
On the holidays, that's kind of what you want, right? You're like, okay, kids, get out of the house, go play. I have so much work to do.
Yeah.
No? Is that not a thing?
it is actually at an. The golem doesn't speak.
Yeah,
Frosty nattered on continually, according to the story.
yeah. This is according to the story anyway. Yeah, he did speak.
Of the letter H would be a.
You never know. I mean, it's just like zombies in the movies have sort of morphed over the years, and now they move fast.
Oh, they used to be slow and bumbly, and now they run.
And now they
like
can
at
run.
Olympic speeds.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
they have different attributes. They
Yeah,
mutate
so-
in different ways and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so the golem may have evolved just like zombies did.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Possible. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that's my theory. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well-
This one is at an angle.
I actually did my research and
did?
found some experts.
It was the
How did you find these guys?
Well, I did a little digging. I found some historic records, and somebody suggested.
different legion.
Yeah, and like to explain to our listeners,
While I did a recording, do you want to just want to listen to it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
This is Justin and
they didn't disappear from England. They were just
Who is this really?
You guys, it's Devin. It's Devin from Thinking Sideways. You know that other podcast that you get compared to all the time, and we get compared to you all the time, and we're like best friends now, apparently. I need your help. I hear you guys have some information on Frosty, aka the Snowman. Can you tell me about him, like who he was, or anything about him?
So, do we have, what evidence do we have on Frosty the Snowman?
I don't know. I didn't.
And so, yeah,
Yes and no.
yeah, and the discovery of this stuff.
Can you guys help me out here?
We don't have a corncob pipe.
It appears that they probably didn't get relocated to
The physical evidence is gone. What we do have, though, is a song. If you remember, not too long ago, we covered the McMartin preschool scandal.
That we don't.
Here, I think this song, Frosty the Snowman, is even more important to this case than the other song was to the McMartin. That song was written.
Company or a part of the Legion that got transferred there.
So it goes, Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul. So we know he's jolly,
and he has a soul, so he's a being, or he's alive, right? With a corncob pipe and a button nose, and 2 eyes made out of coal. Well, coal, back then, back in the 50s, you had coal mining, and you had coal trying to relate to the common man, the worker man, the blue-collar worker.
Now the Legion. So Legion A is getting its butt kicked.
Right?
Yeah, and he's got a button nose. I mean, that's clothing, you know? I mean, maybe it's good for sniffing clothing. I don't know. Frosty the... No, but the children know how he came to life one day. So the children know. How did they know?
Men still consider themselves part of the Ninth Legion.
I don't know that they're being questioned. It almost sounds like it's a secret they're supposed to keep.
Okay.
The children know. The adults do not know.
That's a little suspicious.
Very suspicious. Now I'm not feeling so good about Frosty now.
Okay. There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found. Magic hat? To entice children? Kids love magic. Or...
With the 7th Legion.
Mm-hmm.
For when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around.
Group, regardless
A
of...
drug reference. I'm not sure.
Well, now it really is starting to sound like drugs.
Okay.
Well, it was written in the 50s, right?
Well, yeah.
What would people think?
That was
According to the Empire.
So it's not clear if...
before Footloose, even. Oh, Frosty the Snowman was as alive as he could be, and the children say he could laugh and play.
Say the Netherlands, and that they just sent 500...
Saying, hey, that's cool. You know, I may be big, but I'm one of you.
Yeah, but it is a little weird for this adult male guy to be only playing with children. And he's kind of blue collar. I mean, if he's Michael Jackson, that's one thing, but I don't know if Frosty has enough money to be playing with little kids and get away with it. Frosty, clumsy as he could be, see him lopping along, off he goes on an ice...
Britain or
1,000 men, because a Legion is...
He's clumsy. He likes to trip and fall.
That 500
1,000.
or 1,000.
Yes, okay.
We got problems here.
He's
with
falling down or falling into people.
Yeah.
He's pretty clumsy.
He knew the sun was hot that day. Now, before I melt away. He knew the sun was hot that day. The heat is on.
The heat is on. Right. The heat is on to him.
Or you know,
or they all went
down to the village with a broomstick in his hand. Okay, there's more children in the village. Possible weapon involved.
Or a spanking tool.
Running here and there, all around the square, saying, "Catch me if you can." That's cute. He led them down.
So he's luring them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's play this game.
Catch me.
Yeah, catch me.
I'm gonna run down the basement.
Oh, yeah.
into several.
He led them down the streets of town, right to the traffic cop.
Yes, Rome took over.
Frosty has just been given a lawful command by a police officer. And a police officer, if he suspects a crime is being...
Good.
Terry frisk you, interrogate you, he has the right. And you have to obey his command. So he sees Frosty with a group of...
Everybody was happy with Roman rule.
Well,
Frosty the Snowman had to hurry on his way, but he waved goodbye saying, "Don't you cry, I'll be back again someday." I think Frosty just refused a lawful command from an officer, and we could consider him fleeing from a scene or evading arrest. He didn't stop, right?
Well, the idea is that he's not planning to stop, but he could be caught.
You take over a people and they welcome you and
Be back.
Well,
whether he's caught or whether he gets away.
okay. But the next line is
Happen is and
sound of the nightstick hitting him.
Well, it's either that or the sound of heavy.
that is because later emperors learned.
Yeah.
So there's a battle here.
He's getting slammed down with concrete.
Either this is a really vicious battle. Either the
Where there would be a battle or
thump thump. Maybe I'm reading too much, but to me it sounds like someone is consistently winning here.
Yeah.
So, and if I had to guess,
It's the nightstick.
I think that's if this has a happy ending.
Well, it says, look at Frosty go. Is that to jail?
No, look at Frosty go to me implies that Frosty's moving under his own.
they would take a legion from another place and they would
Separated into his 3 parts, and then it went thumpity thump thump down.
going on, but the place that they had just now left.
And then watch Frosty go. He's heading for the hills.
Okay. No,
He's
because
running for the hills.
well, it says thumpity thump thump over the hills of snow. Oh, in that movie, I'm not sure. What was the original question? What was, were we supposed to?
Anymore.
Sure.
So the smart thing is don't move.
Person to me.
Why Frosty?
Why did he do it? He should
Well,
just
we
listen.
have an idea of why he did it, but it makes us uncomfortable even to think about it. Right?
Yeah.
Frosty's not so nice now,
No.
right?
No. So I hope that answers your guys' questions, and thanks for asking, and you all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, what's in the pipe, Frosty?
Thanks, you guys.
Round.
Yeah, but
For me.
Show off.
Ha ha. So they seem to know what they're talking about, right?
Netherlands, or maybe somebody from the ninth.
I will give them that.
That sounds
Based on
like-
the song.
Sounds like he could have been an actual guy.
Were they suggesting that Frosty was
Like a drug guy. Like a drug type guy.
Is this why I've suddenly noticed that both of you have been saying Frosty, aka Plate, is a weird. No, okay, a plate I get.
and as in,
That was his code name.
as in blow.
Blow.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that part. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no wonder the kids liked him so much.
Yeah.
No wonder they all ran around so
They
much.
had so much energy. So I guess do we feel like we need to come to a consensus in the room about what Frosty was in order to go forward, or are we okay with just thinking different things?
Because usually you make
Is going to push the he was a snowman thing, and it doesn't really matter.
then off of the roof and taking it with you.
But let's face it, no matter what truth we come up with, it will be crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it's probably worth coming up with the
Taking the light switch plate off of my apartment.
definitely know their stuff. And
Yeah, there was, but they said that Frosty was kind of a pusher kind of guy,
yeah.
but it appears to me that he actually. You've never done that?
All right, well, I think
and that's not, he can be a snowman and still be a drug pusher.
That's true.
Yeah.
He could be a
I-
snowman
I-
dealing snow. So, okay, well, then, what evidence what do we know about Frosty? What happened to Frosty?
Well, yeah, that's according to the song. He ran afoul of the town's traffic cop, and then left town, promising to be back someday. But of course, in town, out of town, sooner or later, the temperature goes up. Frosty melts.
My house got destroyed, and then I got transferred.
just seasonal change.
Seasonal change, yeah. So that is
House? I mean, it's possible. It's not as though.
It is.
Frosty melts.
Actually, you guys, when I was talking to Justin and Aaron, they actually mentioned that they,
Was a Generation Y guy.
yeah, the Gen Y guys,
Yeah.
they, about what actually happened to Frosty, I have his phone
So-
number. Do you want to give him a call?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, but this guy's really, if I remember
That they got transferred to the Netherlands. It's basically
about who he is.
Okay, but but we have. It's a podcast. We can edit it.
Okay, so because I know that I saw this email is that he wanted to be completely anonymous, so we're going to keep this anonymous for him.
Yeah,
yeah.
of course we are.
Okay.
So,
So you have to edit it. So let's just call him up right now.
Okay. Hey, Mike.
That's me.
Oh, hey Mike, it's Devin from Thinking Sideways. We
yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But let's.
recording right now. Hopefully that's okay. I know you're. We'll edit. It's fine.
Which is that the 9th, you said that you had some info and that you would talk to us about it. And I know
Yeah.
we've got a bunch of questions.
Yeah. As Mike, as you know, we were covering the story of. Are well aware the standard story is that Frosty was done in by a temperature change. He essentially melted. But I've heard rumors on Reddit.
Says that they were moved.
Yeah, listen, I'm only talking to you guys because I don't want, I don't think this is right, what they did to that boy.
You mean Frosty?
Yeah. You got to promise me, though, you're going to keep my name out of this because if they did that to him, imagine what they're going to do to me. I have a house, a family, a dog.
Scout's honor. We won't let it out.
Yeah, we'll delete any references to your name and everything else.
Legion and
Well, the official answer is that nobody really knows for sure.
can point to is the fact that
5, the day after Jimmy Hoffa was killed. A 14-year-old boy by the name of Sammy Johnson, he was skateboarding when he found a carrot near an industrial...
Scotland, the 9th Legion was
Lumps of coal.
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
The carrot was just sitting there among a bunch of boxes. I mean, how do you explain that? 2 weeks later, they did...
this would have been the year 82 to 83, by the way.
Carrot.
well, that's on the other side of the country.
Oh my God.
But they were just sitting there next to a pile of logs. After 4 days, they found a couple of twigs near the home of a 76-year-old World War I veteran by the name of Frank Buckles. Just went outside and he found them there.
Those were his arms?
Well, that's what some people think. It was in western Pennsylvania. It was a bungalow, and the arms, or twigs, were
It was another group that came in that buried
body like that and leaves parts of it all over the country. If you ask me, there's only one.
There wasn't a whole lot left. There's also
What I didn't tell you is that next to each of these grisly body parts, there was a puddle.
Oh my
Almost
God.
like they were trying to send a message. Whatever Frosty did, he was
Legion.
he was doing some low-level stuff at first, collecting bets. He was a bookie for a while in the Fuller Park area. Everything was working,
also transferred.
though, and one of them decided he wasn't going to pay up. I mean, Frosty's a cold dude, but, even though he has got that bit of an ominous stare to him with those beady black eyes, there wasn't much to back it up. I mean, with those twig-like arms and not a lot of upper body strength.
Not really, no. Couldn't really hold
Yeah.
a gun.
The funny thing is, I remember old Frosty, there was this one time at the Green Door Tavern.
So it's been debated whether
Jack, he was going around challenging bar patrons to an arm wrestling match.
new number Legion. So the
Got
six.
his twig broken.
So I think after that, he started having some problems with the boss. He just seemed to keep messing up after that, like he couldn't do anything
It's
That makes
probably
sense.
not.
to him, and we all saw it coming from a mile away.
So what was he?
He's a creepy mother. He was.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Okay.
They were commingled into a completely different.
He, was it aliens? Was he, what's the What's the Jewish creature? The golem. Was he a golem, perhaps?
Dude said he was from Jersey. I mean,
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't a snowman.
well, I think he was from Slovakia, to be honest with you. So I don't know what that makes him, or maybe Romania or Bulgaria, or one of the Ias. I don't really know. But he would get lit up and sing everybody out. Plus the dumb hat he would always wear. Even at the time when everybody was wearing
Yeah.
The Bermuda Triangle of Roman Legion.
top hat.
And that scarf.
Scarf, yeah. He's definitely an out-of-towner, But, in answering your question about whether he was a snowman, rumor has it
We'll say when we talk about we talked about the transfer.
night somehow, probably with a bottle of scotch and a pipe filled with a little hashish. I don't know.
Yeah.
The 70s were weird, man. They had all kinds of...
Substantiate that is if there's
I
even
remember that.
Yeah, they had a snow Wookiee and just a lot of drugs. So Frosty tried them all.
Yeah, no, I have heard definitely that his name actually kind of had two meanings, the snowman and all that stuff. And that's probably why he was so popular with the kids in the neighborhood. He
Yeah.
was passing out lots of free blow.
Well, he definitely had some on him. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for agreeing to talk to us, and thanks.
they get wiped out or transferred, absorbed, he's still loyal to
Some sort of scale out of it. I was never here. This is totally off the record, and I don't
Yeah.
want...
nails or plates, and he goes ahead and says, you know what?
Here, yeah, we'll definitely edit your name out of this.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you for your time. Thanks for the information.
No problem.
Wow.
Of my fallen
That's
brother.
an ugly ending for old
Our
Frosty.
emails did not. I didn't think that was gonna
No.
I don't think he wanted to commit anything to pen and paper.
pass.
It's where if this is... Okay,
Okay.
so there's that.
Yeah, so
Fun.
so Frosty done in by the mob apparently.
Ugh.
But there's another theory out there that he was not done in by the mob. He was done in by a mob.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Whole different story. I know. This kind of contradicts our anonymous source's story. But actually, in reality, it doesn't. It appears that there were actually two Frosties.
What?
Yeah, I know.
The next two theories,
I'm going to say this other Frosty, we'll call him Frosty 2. He did give his name as Frosty.
and it is absolutely the destruction of the...
Which has some interesting stuff on it. According to two Frosties, in late fall the same year that the original Frosty showed up in town, word got back to
others, because the other ones could
the
be...
traffic cop who yelled at Frosty. I'm talking about the Men in Black.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Of course, they were concerned that Frosty was possible.
Banded or petered out. I don't know. These ones are all pure...
So they decided to bring him in for some questioning. On one night in early November, an unmarked van screeched to a halt in front of Frosty, and 5 guys dressed in dark clothing jumped out, threw a blanket over Frosty, and bundled him into the back of the van. There was only one witness to this, which is one of the local kids, and nobody took him seriously when he said that a snowman had been kidnapped.
Well, who would?
Yeah, or who cares,
exactly.
really?
Yeah,
I mean,
I know, a snowman, big deal. Make another
yeah,
one,
okay, kid, sure.
Yeah. For over a month. And by the way, this puts the final nail in the coffin of the Magic Hand.
Was a uprising in what is now known...
The scarf, the pipe.
Yeah,
And-
it's weird. I was looking at those. We posted those photos in the links, and it was interesting.
It is
Israel-
Israel, Palestine?
Israel or Palestine.
Palestine.
Or,
There's believed there were 2 Frosties because while he was held for well over a month in this secure facility, and at the same time, the other Frosty was out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that little country at the far eastern end of the. There was a second imposter Frosty. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back to his story. The interrogation techniques escalated as time went by because Frosty kept saying that he didn't know anything, and I'm pretty sure Frosty really didn't know anything. I mean, he was just a snowman, for God's sakes. Yeah. They started out with isolation, sleep deprivation. Frosty wasn't talking. The feds weren't taking that for an answer, so they started
Rising was known as the bar
balls. They threatened to turn him into the beginnings of an igloo.
Oh,
Was the revolt where the Jewish people of the area,
I don't even know what an alien is.
which is amazing because most people under that level of torture will start making something up just to appease
yeah. I
the
guess
torture.
it's almost suspicious.
Justifiable reasons because there was huge.
I know. Finally, in frustration, one day one of the agents leaned over the table and burned Frosty with a cigarette.
What? You can't. What?
What?
What do you mean?
No, I mean, like, you can't. So you could smoke
Oh, yeah,
inside.
you could. Yeah,
But God, you can't just like burn a guy with a cigarette.
Apparently you can.
Ugh.
Yeah.
When you're a man in black, you can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, since that got kind of a rise out of Frosty, they decided to go with that technique for a while. So they all lit up unfiltered Lucky Strike cigarettes and started burning poor Frosty. And of course, he's still, and it's well documented. But if you go to twofrosties.com, they have a picture of the interrogation room right after Frosty was sent back to his.
But this theory says that the
Yeah, it was pretty
that's,
vicious.
I mean, it's just to warn our listeners, they're hard to look at.
Yeah.
reinforced the legions that were already.
But even the torture didn't get anything from them. They considered waterboarding, but it's kind of hard to waterboard somebody in a refrigerated facility once the water freezes.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so don't.
The casualties, the entire the ice boarding at that point.
Yeah, I don't know, just bashing his head into a sheet of ice.
Oh.
Yeah, no, they didn't do the waterboarding. They finally actually decided that Frosty actually,
Local forces and the men that remained.
and they all needed to do some shopping, and plus they were tired of being cold all the time. So,
Yeah, that job had to be terrible.
yeah, so Frosty was dumped off just a couple of blocks from where he was kidnapped, and things went back to normal for a while. But this Frosty, I'll call him Frosty 2. Frosty 2 was kind of a hard luck snowman. In the end, things really went south for him. On the evening of February 30th, 1950, a 5-year-old boy, Robert Julius Irving, was
Matters.
Bundy said that he had seen Irving with Frosty 2 an hour or so before the body. What kind of evidence is there for this one?
It
Well,
does sound familiar, though,
Yeah,
doesn't it? We
weird.
should make sure to look it up.
Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. So an angry crowd of townsfolk armed with matches, propane.
the uprising happened,
Well, yeah.
and it
First pretended to be an inanimate object. When he saw all the lighters and torches, he started to plead his innocence, but it didn't do him any good. Soon Frosty was reduced.
Jewish uprising.
Yeah.
There was one prior.
The townsfolk all decided that word of this must never get out, and so they vowed never to speak of it again. And the local Chamber of Commerce covered the whole thing up, just like in Jaws.
Yeah,
Really.
that's got to be terrible. I mean, the
Yeah.
streets would run with water at that
The streets
point.
were running with water. Yes, it was sad. And
This is
people-
why mob
and
justice shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah.
I
it's
know.
bad.
I know. The townsfolk were all spattered with water, with Frosties. Yeah, Frosty 2's
I
water.
can't imagine how many showers it would take.
They boxed him about the years. They really kind of did. How many towels does that take?
I know.
Yeah,
I
we gotta
know.
stop. Come on, guys. This
I know.
of deaths on the road.
Word kind of got out. A few inquisitive reporters showed up, but they were met with basically a wall of silence. And one especially persistent one was treated to a blanket party. Actually, there, did they find any remnants of tiles? The townsfolk were not going to talk about it. And the cover-up was very comprehensive. Even the Wikipedia page has been sanitized.
Yeah, nobody really knows about
I guess this is another mystery about Frosty too. So, was he a murderer?
it. Yeah. Was he?
Was he a murderer? What
I
do you
don't
guys
know.
think?
Well, it depends on. Wait, are we talking about Frosty, aka the Snowman, the first one, or the second one,
We're talking about the
or either of?
yeah. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to say which one was done in by the mob and which one was done in by the mob of townsfolk.
Right.
Or-
Then England.
You know, specifically Snowman, I can't tell because there's snow which one is which. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna both wear the same hat, and they're shaped identically. They're round balls of snow.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Diotariana.
That's close enough, probably.
Well, no, I'm not being a snowist. I mean,
Okay,
come on.
all right. Okay.
You're
mean,
saying that they
literally-
all look alike, aren't you?
I'm not being a
Dio
Dio.
Tiarana.
Dio Tariana.
People might not be able to tell the difference. I can tell the
See,
difference.
that's what I'm getting at. Is that I think that's part of the reason,
Part of the problem.
that nobody really realizes that they're two because
They look exactly the same.
just
Yeah.
To you.
a lot of folks.
It's entirely possible
Not
that
a snowist.
it's entirely possible too that if Frosty committed this heinous crime, that it might have been maybe Frosty 1 committed the crime, but Frosty 2 is the one who unfortunately
Yeah.
paid the price
Suffered
for
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
Entirely
It's
possible.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and Frosty.
What?
So here are the theories. So evidence in favor of Frosty was
documented in the Roman records.
Robert Irving.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Theodore Bundy said that when he saw Frosty and Irving together, Frosty had one of his stick hands on Irving's shoulder and kind of
Time.